Oh, I think, sorry, we
Yes,
lost
I think,
Chiamaka.
okay. I think this is us, Celine. If you want to share the issue first and then I share the code.
Yeah, I will do that.
Hello, Chiamaka.
Okay, so can you see my screen? Just
Yeah.
checking. Okay. So what we did this week, it's preventing that a user add items that are already in his list again. So for example, in new list, we have potatoes and butter. And when we want to add butter again, we get a message being displayed that it's already in our list. We also added, if you have some spaces, we remove them. Oops. It worked. Okay, it should remove all the spaces. So it did not work here.
Sorry, I
Remove
think
the
it's
spaces.
because it has 3 T's.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening today.
Okay. Oh, so it works with only 2T. So, and it also, we tested it as well with numbers and with any symbol you can have. So that's what we worked on this week. And I will let Viviana present the code.
Okay, I will continue with the code. Um, okay, we work mainly in this manage list component. We were already checking if a user was trying to submit an empty string, but we were not showing any message to users. So we create 3 functions. We already had this function that was used to check if the input was empty when submitted. And then we create this another function that checks if the user is trying to submit a string that only contains digit characters. And here is the function that checks if item is already if 2 strings have the same value, removing all the punctuation and the spaces. So we use these functions here in the handle submit function that submit the forms to create a new item. We first check if the input has value and if the value is only numbers, and then we check if the item is already in the list. So as we need to also alert the user if there was an error, we create also this new component that is an error message component that shows the message corresponding to the error. So here, for example, we are just setting this to this value. We have a state for each form. So each form has a state for an error message. And we are using those below each form. We have this form to create items, new items, and here the other one. So we use also this error component to update the home component. So we also use this here when we have an error when creating a new list. So this are the changes that we made. Any question about this?
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
don't understand the logic of the you can show alert or repeated values. Can you open again?
Yes, in this file.
Yeah.
Okay.
You create a regex.
Mhm.
What is string and value?
Sorry, what is?
Input as repeated value function has two input value.
Yes, because one
First
is,
one is string and
sorry,
second one value. What is that
he,
variable?
sorry, here we have two strings because one string is the one that the user is submitting, and the other string is the input name that is already in the Firestore. So basically, we here remove all punctuation from both of these strings and then compare if they are the same or not. So here in manage list, we use it, we loop on the over the data that has all the items in the list. So we compare it, the new item, the submitted item, the string submitted by users with all the strings that already are in the Firestore, the item name in each item. So I don't know if this is clear or
Yeah,
there
okay.
is another question.
I get more. Thank you, but this variable's name is not clear actually.
This name?
Not function name. Maybe
Okay, in
we can
here.
change.
Okay, yes, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I will stop presenting.
Thank you. We can continue with 11 item.
Okay. I'll start presenting. Enter the screen. Enter the screen. So we have the ticket number 11. That meant that we had to calculate the next estimate for the purchase date. And if we go and say, and we have added an item, I can swap this. Say, just I add, say, a pair. I want this in 30 days. And I go into my list and check the database. Where is the pair? You can see that the date created has been just now, and it estimates that within 30 days it equals to the 9th of April. And say I have marked it as purchased. It will say that I have my total purchase of 1, and it gives me today's date as a last date purchased, which is computed further on to update the next estimated purchase dates. So just as an example from further down the line, here with the tuner, which is an older example. So the tuner item was created on the 6th of March, and it was then bought a few times, the last one being the 10th of March. So the updated with the algorithm behind it would then say, okay, it's the 14th of March that it gets, it's due to be bought again. So yeah, that's from my side.
Okay, so I'll show the code behind it now. Mm. Mm. So first thing that we had to do was install the shopping list utils dependency, which we added to our package.json. And we also created a new utility function, which is get days between dates, to which we pass two date objects. And from these date objects, we calculate the number of days that has passed between one date and the other date. And then on the Firebase file, we have updated the update item function. So what we are doing is this is to get the document, the item document from the Firestore database. From the item document, we are extracting the number of total purchases, the date last purchased, the date that the item was created, the date next purchase, and then we create a present date to make comparisons from. Then the item the document we will be updating with this function, which is update doc, to which we need to give a date last purchased, a date next purchased, and a total number of purchases. So to calculate these three, date last purchase would be now, which is the present date that we've stored here in the now variable. For date next purchased, we are going to use the function get future date, which is stored also here in dates. Yeah, get future date, which is to calculate the date with an offset of days that have passed since the date we are giving it. And for total number of purchases, we are just adding one total purchase. And to calculate the day next purchased, we are using an estimate, which we are calculating with the calculate estimate function, which we are importing from the package from the module that we imported from the Collab lab. And to use calculate estimate, we need a previous estimate, the date that it was last purchased, and the item total purchases. So to calculate the previous estimate, we are doing if there is a date last purchased present on the item, which means that it has been previously bought, it's not a new item, we calculate the number of days between the date next purchase and the date that it was last purchased. If there is no date last purchase, we calculate the number of days between date next purchase and date created. And finally, if there is a date last purchase, we give it days since last purchase. And if there is no date last purchase, we beat the previous estimate to calculate the estimate, which means that if the item is a new item, we are just saying, okay, here is the days here is the number of days that has passed since it was last purchase, which will equal the number of days between the present day and the date that it was created. And if there is a date last purchase, we use the previous estimate function that we've calculated here. It's a bit confusing, but if you have any questions, you can ask about it.
I just want to say that the initial next purchase date is going this way. Is the input the user has made on creating the item, so the soon in 7 days, not so soon 14 days, and the not soon at all 30 days input. I just want to add that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, okay, no problem.
Clear for my side. Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We next is Chimaka also tell something about learning model discussion. You can continue, Chimaka.
Yeah, thank you. I'm deeply sorry once again for I don't even know what happened. I started trying like 3 minutes to meeting time and it went downhill from there. I'm deeply sorry once again. So today we have the LinkedIn profile. and then we also have the one about finances. So, in order not to take much of our time, we can just like briefly go through them, and then during the office hours, we can go through them in details in case, because I understand these career lab modules are important for you guys, so they are practicable, something that you really need to understand. So we can always continue the discussion through during the office hours. So yeah, let's start with LinkedIn. Were you guys, that this one is more practical than even theory, were you guys able to follow the videos and then update your LinkedIn's? What are your experiences? And then have you I think the reviewing of profile was last week. Have all of you done it? How is the experience so far?
I just want to say that due to my nature of having had a crash last Saturday, I did not get to do the LinkedIn or the financial advice part because especially for LinkedIn, I would have needed to be actually be able to type stuff on my keyboard, which I was for most part of the week not able to. So I will catch up on that, and yeah, I would take part in the office hours and discuss it then.
Nice, nice. All right, who else?
I didn't get to the LinkedIn reviewing, but I read through the module and I found that it was a really useful checklist to check what the progress of the LinkedIn profile and whether everything was in order. And yeah, most of the things I had already applied, but I took some notes about some others that I still hadn't gotten to. Yeah, I found it really useful, the module.
Okay. And there are
I
no
think
questions, right? As a regard resulting from the modules. Are there any questions you have?
no.
Okay. Celine, you wanted to say something?
No, I want to say the video were really easy to follow, and it was full of practical tips, like you can really easily apply. So it was really straightforward to use, and it was nice to have someone you don't know review your LinkedIn as well, because I really have like a fresh eye on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think so too. I remember during my own career lab, it happened like magic. Like immediately I worked on my profile, I had recruiters coming to my DM. I was like, wow, it really works. So I actually think especially the lady that did the Crystal is her name. Yeah. She's really good. So immediately I applied all those things. I definitely noticed a change on my LinkedIn views and everything. So yeah, Viviana, do you have something to share? Have you worked on yours?
Yes, mostly the same that others. I found it very useful and also had my LinkedIn reviewed, so it was great. I also follow some tips to update and make some changes and also get like feedback that was completely new and different from other feedback I have received before. So it was nice.
All right. Yeah. Um, and another thing with LinkedIn, it's obviously a continuous something. You know, you keep getting jobs, you keep meeting other people and working with people. So like, we should also have in mind that it's a continuous something to also try to update it as you go and every part of it and all that. Yeah. Um, that's it for the LinkedIn. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can either ask on the Career Lab page or you can ask us to however you want to do it. So, what about the financial, dealing with your finances while transitioning? Personally, that learning module is gold. I don't even think it applies to just when you're trying to transition. Like it's something that you can use for life, you know, to apply in other places. I particularly enjoyed it. How many of you were able to go through it? You're able to get to it?
Yeah, I watched it and yeah, I found some useful tips about how to organize from your income, how to divide between expenses and savings. I found the really insightful quote, which was the quote that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So it's good to be prepared and planned. But I also found that some of the things it talked about were a bit US centric, such as the way that the 401k works and yeah, things that are just localized to the US. But it got me thinking that it might be harder to do for a European perspective because there is a lot of more countries here, so it would be difficult to talk about specific things from each country rather than just generally the US.
Yeah, it's true. That even occurred to me. I didn't even know. I don't even know what 401k is. I just ignored that part. So that's completely true. That's very true. And then also the savings and the needs and wants parts also had me pressing calculator to be sure that I'm following the percentage savings and everything. Yeah, it was really helpful. What about others? Do you have any experiences? And also, as regards to you're trying to transition. I know some of you are still working in your career, like you've not left your career to transition to tech, so it might not be very applicable. Trying to manage your finances while you get a job in tech. Well, aside that, what are your experiences in that regard?
As I was saying, I didn't get to watch it yet. But however, in my experience, whenever I've been starting a new job, like the first month is essentially the hardest, because of changing times where you're getting paid and stuff like that. And even that's my current situation. So we are getting paid on a weekly basis. So when I do get to start a dev job, obviously my income will be missing until that first payday. So this is kind of always a bit of a struggle and juggle to get to that first paycheck, essentially. Just a random observation.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. What about Selena and Viviana?
Yeah, so I tried to look at the video. I'm not good with finance, and I really had a time to keep focus on the video, so I stopped it halfway. So I think I will try again, but I did not go until the end. I find it
Sorry?
difficult to apply some advice, like how you should see how the money you receive, how you should see it, when it was like the needs and the like wishes, what you would like. I think I got lost at this part. So
Yeah, it's true. I can relate. It's true. It's true, and which is why I even find the modules so helpful. Seriously, it's one thing is to have these knowledges. Another thing is to plan and then abide by them and then work towards them. So I totally understand. Yeah.
okay.
For
Right.
me, it was sorry.
No, Viviana,
You said?
please.
Okay, so no, for me it was like the same. I didn't finish. I didn't complete all the video yet, but I also agree with Borja. I found some parts very US related, but I resonate with the part of the plan. I really like this part, and I found that this is something that can be applied to almost everything in life. So it was the part that I really liked.
Yeah. Yeah, George, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, not seeing the video. Sorry, I didn't have time for that, but just wanted to share that I've done a lot of times, like always the same, which is as we all, I think we have the banking accounts in modern banks, which most of them they let you export to Excel. So Excel is your friend here, I would say, because what I used to do when I'm going to change my work, or if I'm going to do a big investment, in any case where there is a risk, is with all the uh, costs and all the history of the account, then what I do is try to plan like how many months I can survive if different scenarios happen, and this includes the if I am trying to, for instance, at some point I was deciding between working for a company or working self-employed. So trying to work with scenarios, and in each scenario you have different costs, different incomes as well. So, and try to calculate the amount of months that you can survive if everything goes wrong, if everything goes normal, and if everything goes spectacularly well. And normally this doesn't happen. But the incredibly wrong scenario also doesn't happen. But I mean, Excel, I mean, I cannot express how useful this is in order to keep things under control, and also very important to have peace of mind while you are doing this. Because also, if it's an Excel and you have your accounts, and you know how much you're spending, how much your income, you can also track the progress. So for me, it was super. I mean, I was super confident when doing these changes. My wife was not that okay, but then when I show, okay, but now this is the graphic if everything goes well. This is the graphic if everything goes wrong, and we are here, like more or less in the middle. So if you have control over that, over the different scenarios, and where are you in every moment, then at least you know how things are going, and you can react. I mean, not in the later moment where maybe it's too late. So Excel, and Excel. Okay.
But that seems like a lot of work, though. So do you write expenses in anticipation or after they've happened? Like,
No. What I do is I take my expenses from the past, and then I use an Excel function to project those expenses in the future, and maybe with a little bit of increase. Okay, like how it's the inflation, like 2%, 3%, 5%. That is not very difficult to do in Excel. To have a block of expenses and also income, and then copy and make a modification. Okay, like, okay, this will increase at that rate, and then you take all this history of assets, and this creates a graphic in the future. That is projection. That you take your past and you project it to the future with some modifications, and in the income part you have like different scenarios. Okay, you have the different columns for different scenarios, like I get hired by Microsoft, that is the super great scenario, or I get hired by no one, and that's it, that is the worst scenario. And in the middle, I get hired by regular company. Okay, so with that you have like different graphics, because your expenses are going to be more or less the same. The income is what is going to change, and this is what is going to make your safe months to be more or less. So
I
sorry if
understand now.
this seems complicated. It's okay, it's not super straightforward, but for me it helped a lot, and I have done it so many times.
Yeah. I think starting it is what is kind of complicated, but in the long run, it's actually very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Wow. That's
Hmm.
nice. Thank you so much. All right. Is there any other thing anyone wants to add as regards those two modules? Okay. All right. If any other thing comes to mind, you'll find us on Slack. I'll pass it on to George now for the next week's issues. Thank you. Judith, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was. It's not particularly important for this week, but for the next week. So going by the project brief, the ticket for next week would be the one where we as a team work on to make the app look more professional. But I'm well aware that we have like 3 additional tickets in regards to functionality. So my main suggestion, question, or however you want to put it, so the way I see it, to make the app look more professional, it screams CSS to me, and that can be a rabbit hole. Yeah. Why don't we just swap things like that we do next week, the outstanding functionality tickets first, if that makes sense. It's just I'm just saying, I just thought I'd say it in 1 week in advance, because to me it feels like it's more important at this point to have all the functionality in the app and then go on to CSS, rather than doing all CSS, all the styling, and then having to add another bits and pieces.
Yeah, I think that can work actually. Because from what I understand, we have like it's not even only 2 weeks, we have like 4 weeks left for clearing backlogs and everything, including the CSS. So I think, yeah, definitely we can fix the bugs and then move on to CSS the coming week. That's
Yeah.
that's
I,
okay.
I just feel like if we have done the other stuff first, then we can go wild on the CSS and have a bit more time at hand. So that was more the thinking here.
So I'm sharing the screen. You see the project brief here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see your
So
video.
then we are here, isn't it? We're going to discuss this 12 and 13, but what Judith is saying is about this one, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so the proposal is uh, to work on the issues before entering the this one, the professional looking issue.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. But for this week, we still have these two, right?
Yeah. I just thought I mentioned it way ahead of time, so that if
Yeah.
there are organization stuff to be considered, that you have 1 week to think about it. So that's why maybe I'm a bit early.
That's perfect. Judith. So, yeah, I totally agree as well on that, to have time to decide, to make things work before make things look pretty. So, yeah. So we do it like that. Chamaka, Elite.
Yeah, I think that can work actually. It can work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can do.
So, then let's discuss the ones for this week, and then on the next weekly, we will probably need to do an exercise of deciding the scope of the issues we want to solve. Okay, so let's start with 12. So, as a user, I want to be able to delete items from my shopping list, so my list isn't cluttered with items I don't want to buy in the future. This conceptually, it looks pretty straightforward. Okay, so the idea is just to be able to delete items, and here we need to implement this delete item function. Okay, and what we expect here is that we have a delete icon next to the item that you want to delete. Okay. Also, bear in mind the accessibility for this issue. Okay. Any question for this?
Yeah. So I'm well. I'm one of the persons to be assigned to this. So I was just thinking if we could maybe. I'm not sure if it was expanding as such. So it's fine or to delete an item, but we also should be able to delete a list.
Yes, but this is not in the issue itself. Maybe it's something.
Yeah, it doesn't come up in the future. Hence, me saying if it would make sense, and if we're already going through the effort to create a delete for the item, if we all should go and make it happen for that the user can delete the list.
Yeah, I mean, if you, my opinion at least, if you find it something that you can do in the sprint, yeah, why not?
Okay, we have a look. Just something that I was going to mention it.
Yeah, okay, okay. And also, it's also important to ask for the JavaScript, sorry, for the confirmation dialog. Again, take care about the accessibility with this one, right? There are some hints here to not using JavaScript trickery, which is more difficult for accessibility. But I guess any solution that is accessible would be fine. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay. Okay, next one is a little bit more complex. At least, or at least more complex in terms of functionality. I don't know, implementation. So as a user, I want to view a list of my shopping list items in order. So in order of how soon I am likely to need to buy each of them again. So it's clear what I need to buy soon. Okay, so the idea is to apply order to this list, but not only order. The idea is also to apply grouping. So you are working here with levels of ordering because in the list, you will order the items by the need of purchase, and in every block, you will need to apply alphabetical order. Okay. Okay. Also, there are other considerations here, which are that in order to implement this feature, you will need to create new UI element. Okay, so you will need to structure the things in a different way in order to show this. Okay, and also there is another concept which is inactive. So it's not only that the things you need to buy is like you need to buy in 7 days, 30 days, or 7 or between 7 and 30 and more than 30. There is also the concept of 60 days. If you haven't reached these 60 days, then the idea is that this is an inactive item. If you haven't bought it for 60 days, probably is that you don't need it. Okay. So the acceptance criteria includes as well accessibility things. Okay, so the items should be sorted, of course, like soon, kind of soon, not soon, or inactive, but also that you need to indicate this and not only with color. Okay, so try to think, I don't know, in other solutions, not relying only in color. And then you need to also, yeah, as we said, inactive last, items in ascending order of days until purchase, and sort the items with the same days until purchase alphabetically. There is a stretch goal, which is if what happens when an item date next purchase has passed, but it's not yet active. So it's like, okay, it's more than 30, it's more than the number of days that it was remaining until the next purchase. So imagine it's like 7 days, and then a week is passing. So as time passes, this gets like 7, and then 6, and 5, 4, and then you get to 0, and then you get to -1. So this is the concept of overdue. So the stretch goal is how to display this overdue item. Okay, because it's not exactly that it's changing the category. So an item which needs to be purchased soon, if this number of days is reduced until 0 or -1, it does not transform these items into kind of soon. It's another thing. It's overdue within the category of soon items. I don't know if I explained this correctly. Okay. So it's like the items that are soon to be purchased will get to this overdue state sooner than the ones that are kind of soon or the ones that are not soon. But at some point, these items might get into this overdue state. And so you have to indicate here that this is overdue. And again, don't rely only in color for this. Yeah, Borja, please.
So an item that is in the kind of soon category, when it reaches like 7 days, let's say 6 days until purchase, it doesn't jump from kind of soon to buy soon. It just gets overdue inside its own category. Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want to change the category of the item, or we don't want to show the item in a different category. I mean, if we have marked this item as kind of soon, the idea, I think, is it's still kind of soon, but it should be displayed as overdue.
Okay.
Be careful with that. Again, this is a stretch goal. This issue is already complex. So if you get to this goal, that's great. If not, don't worry. We will have more time to work on this if we decide. I think. Some notes here. There are some recommendations, like something that can be useful, like get days between dates, that remember that you are working in Firebase, so you need to transform from timestamp to date to work in JavaScript. And regarding accessibility, that you need to use something different from color, but also if you use icons, you need to teach the user what the icons are, because maybe they are not so obvious to everybody. And the thing that you are going to use multiple criteria for sorting. So there is a recommendation to go to this Mozilla documentation to see the array prototype sort and see how to write compare functions in JavaScript. Okay. The compare function will help you to sort with your own criteria. Okay. I know this is complex, but it's clear enough to start with the issue.
No.
No, Celine, that's fine. Please.
No, it's just to clarify something, because I just think when you are talking, Borja and Georges, you say something, and I think it's not how I see it. So you have a user, and you have those three categories. When a product, an item, has to be purchased, like it can switch off category up.
I mean, this is what might happen depending on your sorting criteria. But
Okay.
because if you are working with sorting, then this is going to happen. I mean, this is going to happen. This might happen depending on how you implement it. But what we are saying is that we don't want to change the category of the items. We need to keep the items that need to be purchased soon in the soon category. But wait, one thing. This is only what I have understood reading the issue. Okay.
Okay.
But if you find a way to sort the items in a way that we still keep this clarity that that an item is set as kind of soon, but in the order you put it before or after. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is a visual solution that it's totally fine. What I think it's relevant is that in the database we are storing this categorization of soon, kind of soon, and I think we need to keep this clear for the user. We don't want, for instance, imagine that you are not buying, I don't know, cleaner for 1 month, cleaner for yeah, and maybe you don't buy it because you don't need it, but you don't want to transform this into buy cleaner every week. Okay, because you really don't need it.
Okay, I understand. So as a user, if I have an app and I would like to see, for example, at the top, what I should be purchasing during the week, that means the cleanser that you just put it's really at the bottom because you just buy it like once a month. At the end of the month, it needs to go up because I may not go check down to see if I need to buy it. So it has to go up at the top.
Yeah, that's the expected behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without losing the, I mean, when you mark it as when you buy it, then it keeps the 30 days.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what Judith and Borja worked this week on.
Sorry, the date next purchase is what you're considering now, no longer what the user puts when they added the item. So the date next purchase, of course, it's a date, it's moving. Like if it was 20 days to come, and then in the next 10 days, it won't remain 20 days to come. It's now going to be 10 days.
Okay.
Do you get?
I think, yeah.
Don't worry, you can always ask on Slack.
Yeah. Borja?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think I see it the same way as Celine, that it's a bit at the coupling of the backend logic from the user interface. For the user interface, we want the most the items we want to buy right now at the top of the list, so they should be buy soon. But once you buy it, the backend logic is the same. That item will be displayed as if it was like not soon item. The moment you purchase it and take it off the list, it will appear again as a not soon item, and it will keep going up until you have to buy it again. I think that's what you meant, Celine. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the expectation. That's the expectation, actually.
Perfect. Any other question?
It seems Borja is taking all the hard since last 2-3 weeks. You've always been the pair that is taking the hard tickets. So does anyone want to swap with him? Or Borja, are you okay with it?
If Viviana or Judith wants to do this ticket, I don't mind at all. Yeah. They can go. I can swap with them.
I
You know,
also,
you guys
sorry,
can- the pairing is just a suggestion. So among yourselves, you can be like, I like this ticket and I want to take it. So
I want to work on this one. I don't want to switch it.
okay. Okay.
For me, it's fine. If anyone wants to get this ticket, I don't mind. I'm open for doing it or doing the other.
I was going to say that as our ticket is or seems more simple, maybe if you need help or just want to discuss it with us, just let us know.
And I think if you want to do another one of the ticket we added this week, if you feel like you want to do more than the ticket 12, you can always take something another one.
like the divide this into the main goal and the stretch goal that we already also have.
Yeah, I mean, Viviana, and for us, it's a bit like, yeah, we have implemented the item. If we still have time and energy, then we can go ahead and do the deleting list functionality I was thinking about. I mean, obviously, as Viviana just said, if the other two have questions or need another pair of eyes, obviously we would be there to help.
Yeah. For the deleting list, remember I can have access to someone else's list. So you have to make a restriction that I'm not able to delete someone else's list, even though they've added me to the list. So I can only delete the list that I created by myself.
Yeah, it needs to be bound to the owner, to the actual owner of the list.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, well done, guys. I'm taking the office hours this week, so tomorrow we are going to find the time for that. I'm sorry for taking your time. I'm sorry once again, please. It won't happen again. All right. We'll see on Slack. If there's anything else, please let us know. Okay.
Okay, dokie. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Right.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.